There's a moment in every great match where something shifts. Not just tactically, something deeper. A player stops reacting and starts deciding. In Rome last weekend, two champions had that moment, and it told you everything you need to know about why they won. Let's start with the women's final, because Elena Svitolina gave us something that genuinely shouldn't be possible. She's 31. She's been on tour for 15 years. She has seen every trick, every grind, every slow-burn rally this sport can produce. And yet, trailing in a rally against Coco Gauff, with a younger player pulling her from corner to corner, painting lines, doing everything right, Svitolina found a gear that rookies dream about having someday. Gauff thought she had the point. She had Svitolina stretched, scrambling, completely out of position on the backhand side. Then the forehand side. Then impossibly back to the backhand side. Anyone else stops. Anyone else concedes the point and resets. But Svitolina tracked one more ball down, got outside the doubles alley, which is basically behind the curtain at that point, and fired a backhand pass that split the court clean. The crowd lost their minds. Svitolina didn't celebrate. She just walked back to the baseline, breathing, ready for the next one. That's who she is right now. And that's why she walked out of Rome with the trophy, beating the 3rd seed, the 2nd seed, and the 4th seed back-to-back, all in 3 sets, all in matches where she needed every drop of what she had. Iga Swiatek, Elena Rybakina, Coco Gauff, she took them all down in one tournament run. If you told people that at the start of the week, nobody believes you. She finished the Gauff final 6-4, 6-7, 6-2. Her 3rd Rome title. Her first in 8 years. What changed? Go back 2 weeks and you'll find the answer. Svitolina had an early exit in Madrid. Instead of staying locked into tour mode, grinding through practice sessions, running through the motions, she went home. Fully disconnected. Got 8 real days of training in the kind of block that almost never happens during the season because the schedule doesn't allow it. Focused on her fitness, her strength, things that get neglected when you're bouncing between cities every few days. She came back to Rome looking like someone who had been waiting for this moment. The forehand had more pace. The footwork was sharper. And the hunger looked like she was playing in her first big tournament, not her 100th. That combination is almost impossible to manufacture. She found it. Completely switched off from tennis, she said afterward. I feel more refreshed. 8 days off. 3 title wins. Do the math. Now over to the men's side, and Jannik Sinner, who came into Rome not just as the favorite, but as the story of the entire spring. 5 straight Masters, 1,000 titles coming into the week. A win streak sitting at 28 matches. A home crowd in Rome, the city that hadn't seen an Italian man lift this trophy since Adriano Panatta did it in 1976. That's 50 years of waiting, 50 years of hoping, all of it sitting on Sinner's shoulders going into Sunday. And for a while, it looked heavy. Against Casper Ruud in the final, Sinner started cautiously. You could see it, keeping the ball central, not taking his shots, going down an early break. The crowd was nervous. He was nervous. This was not the Sinner who had been dismantling everyone in his path since March. Then came the moment that told the real story of his spring. Second set, Sinner serving at 4-3, 30-30. 6 points from the title. Ruud, sensing the opening, went after the return with everything he had. Forced Sinner back. Hit another big forehand. Moved forward expecting a short ball that he could finish. What he got instead was a forehand hit so hard and so deep that it caught him completely between positions, too far inside the baseline to handle the pace, too committed to retreat. And Sinner, who was second to go was on defense, was suddenly in control. He closed out the rally with an inside-out forehand and held serve. That swing, that single transition from retreat to attack, is the defining image of Sinner's spring. He doesn't fold under pressure. He sharpens. The tighter the situation, the cleaner his decision-making gets. It's not just confidence. It's a competitive instinct that very few players have ever had at this level. He won the final 6-4, 6-4. 6 straight Masters, 1,000 titles. 29 wins in a row. The first Italian man to win Rome in half a century. And now, uniquely in the history of this sport, he's won all 9 ATP Masters 1,000 events. something Novak Djokovic managed and nobody else. But there's a question mark sitting underneath all of this. In his semifinal against Daniil Medvedev, Sinner was gasping for breath in conditions that weren't even particularly brutal. He cramped up. He fought through a third set that cost him more than a scoreline shows. On Sunday, before he talked about the titles, before he talked about history, he made sure to acknowledge his physical team. Physically very, very tough, he said. Big thanks to my physical team. They're as important as the tennis coaches. Coming from Sinner, who is not someone who speaks in empty phrases, that lands. He knows his body was being pushed in Rome. The tour now moves to Paris, where Roland Garros awaits, and where best-of-5 matches in potentially heavy conditions will demand more than Rome did. Sinner is still the favorite, comfortably, but fitness will be the thing to watch. For Svitolina, Paris is a different kind of conversation. She's never been to a Grand Slam final. She has 5 quarterfinal appearances at Roland Garros. She knows how to get deep there, knows how to read the conditions, knows how to play on clay when the points get long and the legs get heavy. But Sabalenka, Swiatek, Rybakina, and Gauff are still ahead of her in terms of slam credentials and outright firepower. What she does have coming out of Rome is something harder to measure. Belief. Real belief, backed by real wins, against real opponents, in real pressure moments. Both of them, the Italian who couldn't miss when it mattered most, and the Ukrainian who refused to stop running, showed something in Rome that goes beyond results. They showed that the best version of a champion doesn't appear when things are easy. It appears when a point feels impossible, when a set is slipping, when the crowd is holding its breath, and every instinct says, let this one go. They didn't let it go. They went after it harder. And that's why Rome belongs to them.